What is going on? This is episode 208 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Player 2 on this one, Nightcrawler. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
It is
back
going.
From your vacation.
I am back. We're doing back-to-back podcasts pretty much. Sorry, guys.
Get the content out.
Sorry. Get the content back out. So you guys will have lots to listen to this coming week. The music you just heard is from On Being Human. You can check them out on Spotify and YouTube. Remember, this is an unofficial Nintendo podcast. And if you'd like to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/NPC. Pick up something awesome like Blood, Sweat, and Pixels or Ready Player One. The chair I'm sitting in is from OP Seat. If you go to n64josh.com/OP Seat, you automatically save $10 at checkout. And I believe, I could be mistaken, but I believe last I saw, the Master Series is still on sale for $40 off. So you're looking at a total savings of $50 plus free shipping. Now, the Master Series is for smaller individuals and the Grandmaster is for larger individuals. So keep that in mind, depending on your size. All right. My book, Another Castle, is available on Amazon as a paperback and on Kindle. And you can actually read it for free if you are part of the, I think it's called Kindle Unlimited, actually. So you can sign up for that. You can check the book out for free if you would like. Go to n64josh.com/anothercastle. With that, we'll get to the announcements.
Hey, listen.
All right, guys, well, like I mentioned in the last podcast, I've had a handful of people ask me how they can help me out with E3, and I'm not one for just taking handouts, so I figured, you know what, I'll put a coupon code on the store. You guys can get a t-shirt or something if you want and help me out. So if you go to n64josh.com/store, that's all my merch, t-shirts, coffee mugs, leggings, like you name it, it's pretty much there, baby clothes, all kinds of different stuff, my logo, the different shows, some goofy sayings from stream, things like that. If you use coupon code E32019, you automatically save 10% on your entire purchase. So there you go. That's it. n64josh.com/store. The Mario project's still happening. If you would like to be involved with that, go to n64josh.com/the Mario project. All the details are there. My calendar for streaming, n64josh.com/calendar. That's your hookup. And I do want to invite everybody to the Facebook group, n64josh.com/Facebook group, if that's where you hang out online. I've been trying to be a little more involved there, and we still got the Discord going strong, n64josh.com/Discord. Come hang out. That's going to do it for the announcements. Under 3 minutes in, let's get to the content. Here we go.
Here we go.
So today is going to be a little different show. Because, I mean, look, it's not our normal day anyway. It's the weekend. I had Nintendo Guru join me earlier today. Nightcrawler's joining me tonight. And we're just going to talk about... there's been so many games out, right? And, a lot of times we can't even sit and talk about them all that much because we're trying to cover news, that kind of stuff. So we're just going to talk about some of the games we played. It's just going to be a conversations show. Pretty simple. And that's it. So... hopefully you guys are cool with that. Again, we're just kind of mixing it up. The regularly scheduled shows will be back next week or starting Monday. And Crawler's going to join me for that. Eric is on vacation. So let's talk some games, man. What have been some of the highlights for you the past, month and a half or so?
Well, I know you and I both never have played. I don't think you've ever played. I've never played any Final Fantasy games. And with all these Final Fantasy games coming out on Switch, 7 and 9 and 10 and 10.2 and 12, just inundating the Switch, I figured it was time to jump in and figure out what this is all about. I've dabbled in, 3/6, whatever it technically is on the only way I have access to that is through the SNES Classic, so it's there, and I've dabbled in it, but not really sat down and played it. I'm intrigued to go back, and now after kind of engaging in this Final Fantasy saga that I'm going to try to start, I know that they're all kind of separate stories in and of themselves, but I'm curious to kind of dive headfirst into everything. But you and I both have started 7, so let's kind of start there. You started your week last week with an Instagram post that kind of didn't include 7, and it led to 7. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So on my way out for vacation, I swung into Best Buy, and I actually grabbed Mario Kart Monopoly And because I was like, we're going to the cabin for a couple days, and then we're going to head to our timeshare. And so, quick side note, Mario Kart Monopoly, kind of fun. I think I'm actually going to do like a review video on my YouTube channel because...
What is Boardwalk and Park Place?
So here's what's interesting is they're all tracks from Mario Kart 8. Rainbow Road is Park Place the last one or Boardwalk typically? I can't remember. Whatever the last one is, it's Rainbow Road, except all the other tracks are Mario Kart 8 tracks, like new ones. Rainbow Road's the 64. So I don't know if somebody didn't get the memo right or whatever.
It wasn't Space Station's Rainbow Road.
No, it was 64. So kind of funny there. Picked up 2 more racers. So we got Metal Mario and Donkey Kong plus Peach, Toad, Luigi, and Mario. So interesting take. You have the dice to roll, and then you have an action die, and the action die has like green shells, bananas,
so more reasons to hate Monopoly.
Coins.
Add RNG of Mario Kart.
Lightning and blue shells. So it has it all. And so what you do, like if you're in front of me and I roll the green shell, you have to drop coin. Your currency is coins. And so you have to drop 3 coins wherever you're at. And then if I'm right behind you and then I roll, 6 and I go past that spot, I pick up those coins. So it's very similar to so it's a lot more fast paced, and you only play until you're out of races. You actually have I believe it's 8 races. Every time somebody passes go, you can pay to get into the race, and then whoever rolls the highest on the dice wins the race.
Huh.
And so
it does sound interesting.
I'm telling you, Monopoly's pretty boring. I played it a lot as a kid. Never really been my thing. If just as like a Mario Kart board game, it actually kind of holds its own. Like it's something that I would definitely play again. I will say this: my 11-year-old was like, "Oh, this is so boring." But I mean, she typically is just staring at her phone.
What isn't boring for an 11-year-old?
But my 13-year-old played the whole thing, thought it was fun, and I like that it's a set time. Like you only got to get around 8 times, right?
So it's not a 2-hour Monopoly game.
No, and you could play with only 2 players. You just divvy things up a little bit. They have a rule set for 2 players as well if you want to be able to do that.
That's cool.
So, little side note, but Mario Kart Monopoly actually pretty fun. Final Fantasy VII. Okay, so like you said, started with an Instagram post. I stopped at Best Buy, got Mario Kart Monopoly, picked up 10, 10-2, and 12. Was like, okay. Mind you, I had 40 Switch games packed in a bag. My Zelda Hylian Shield backpack just stuffed full of games. I didn't open the 2 Final Fantasy games that I bought. I posted, which one should I play? I had a lot of people saying you really should just start with 7. Okay, so then I downloaded 7. I didn't even open my backpack to get controllers out, my games out, nothing. Played a little bit of Smash, but pretty much focused on Final Fantasy. I probably have 6 hours. So a couple things right off the bat. For the most part, I went into it completely blind. There were a few areas that I couldn't tell based on the geometry where to go. Like it didn't look like there was a pathway.
Yeah.
And then
did you find this? I had that problem as well. I hit a point and I was in Discord chat actually with like Super Nintendo and Mel's and everybody, and I was having this problem like because I kind of had a mini rant that morning on Discord about like how I enjoy the story and everything, but like it's definitely a reflection of its time because there's no quest log, there's no waypoints. There is a little thing that along with the speeded up ×3, which is convenient for like grinding and moving around in the world, but it can be detrimental to you in a big fight if you're kind of just always getting hit with that ×3 speed. But there is another thing you can click on that'll show you everything that's interactable, like exits on the screen, people you can talk to, things you can go up and do. So that was actually a thing that would be helpful for, instead of having waypoints, you can find possible paths and exit points, which is convenient.
How is that triggered? Do you remember? Because I only know the 3. I only know the 3 things. I didn't know that existed.
It might be the other joystick click in the right button 3, or it could be one of the bumpers. I'm not sure, but it brings up like little arrows, little hand arrows that just point at different things that are interactable.
Because I saw the ×3. I saw like the God mode where you don't take any damage and you always have limit. And so I actually had that on and didn't know what it was doing. Like I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Why is my limit always going off?
I think there's another one as well that just eliminates random encounters.
Yeah, if you click both sticks in at the same time, that one shows up. So okay. I ended up looking them up because I was like, what is this? You know, like why am I at
It doesn't do a good job explaining a lot of that either.
Yeah, so for the most part, like I've really enjoyed it. I haven't had to look up much, and it was kind of one of those things where like if I felt like I was just getting stuck over and over again, and I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing something. I would only try to I wouldn't go and watch a video. I had I just pulled up a walkthrough or something, and I would only get to a part, like I would only read just enough to where it was like, oh, I know exactly what I have to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it wasn't like,
and that's the best way to not spoil yourself on anything. And because I like you didn't have a PlayStation, did you? Growing up?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I only played Mortal Kombat. That was it.
It wasn't in my wheelhouse. I didn't really talk to many people that were playing that at the time, so I don't have any of the story ruined for me. So I'm actually very looking forward to exploring the story, because I think that is the high point of 7, because obviously it's dated, it's rough to, I mean, it's pretty much just a 2D painting picture of your area that you're in, and a bad 3D sprite trying to run around in a 2D plane that's supposed to be interacted with in some 3D manners. Like there's some ramps and stuff that you're supposed to interact with that are just sometimes hard to decipher what they are. But how engaged I am in playing this, I think I'm about 5 or 6 hours in as well, just kind of like you. And the state of play that Sony had this last week makes me really excited to see what Square is going to talk about on Monday night at E3, and see this remake and play that in a more beautiful setting to really enjoy that story when it does come out.
Yeah, I will say, like, I've only played handheld. I haven't played on the TV once. I kind of just let myself go back to 97, right? I was kind of thinking about like GoldenEye, you know, Mario Kart, like, and I actually really appreciated what they did with the world and how they, like, it was kind of a really cool looking painting that you were just kind of interacting with. What became strange was some of the ladders. You couldn't really tell if they were ladders.
Yep.
There's a little construction site that has a brass colored like beam.
A beam.
And
yep.
It looks
I struggled with that whole section, and it has random encounters throughout that entire area.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure, because I was up on like,
top.
You have to circle around, and I was on top trying to like walk straight into
Same.
it. I'm like, why can I not cross?
Yes, that's what because it looks like it's sitting
around
on top.
through the pipe, around, and then up. Yeah, it's yeah.
It was a little bit.
I'm sure everyone that grew up playing this game is laughing at us quite a bit right now.
They could be. So, so the first things first. The game starts, and I was totally taken by the music. I was like, I like this. It was chill. Credits were rolling. I let it go for probably longer than I thought I would, and then I jumped in, and I was, you know, the character models are kind of funny looking. They look like their arms and their hands. They look like Popeye with giant forearms. You know, like just kind of strange, but there was just a charm to it, because you knew at that time this was like, I could see how there would be nostalgia for some people, right? Like obviously none for me whatsoever, but I kind of just let I tried to do my best not to compare it to like Octopath or, you know, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, things like that, but to just kind of let it stand alone. And for the most part, I could really appreciate what it was doing. The story, like, really great right off the bat. Like you're in the writing is good. You're interested in the characters. You want to know more about it. And so I just kind of lost myself in it, and I couldn't wait to pick it back up again. And that's, I mean, for me, where I typically lean towards more action, shooters, things like that. That it's definitely saying something for me, and so I kind of did just lose myself in it, and I've really enjoyed it so far. I will say that quality of life, the ×3 to speed things up, absolutely love that, because I got to a point that I was like, okay, these fights take a little bit long,
Especially the ones that you can just quickly click through and get through the battles with just the physical attacks and not worry about the magic attacks or anything like that. Yeah, you can just power through it really quick and get 300 gil or whatever it's called, the currency, really quick, and get some XP. And because how long did you spend? You spent about an hour just grinding up above levels?
It was probably about a half hour. And there was one area where there was these guards. Well, I think you were like in the tunnels, and these guards come out the door and you can't go past them. They're just there. And so you can turn and run from them. But I'm like, I'm just going to keep fighting these guys. They weren't very strong. I had plenty of potions. And I was just rinse and repeat. And I probably went up like 8 levels. Well, then turning the ×3 on, I was like, well, this is super helpful. And then I'm like, that's when I looked up that God mode. I'm like, oh, I'm using that for this little grind section just because it was just so much quicker. Did that, and then I haven't turned that God mode back on because I'm like, I don't want this to hinder my. Like you still want
to be challenged by the game.
Yeah, and I want it to be as true to the original as possible. But I'm just like, this little grindy section where I could knock this out much quicker. That's what I'm gonna like. I literally sat on my in a lawn chair on the deck of our cabin, like my phone in one hand, just pressing A on the other, just trying to knock it out. And so, but after that, I've left the random encounter, I left that on as well. So that's still taking place, even though there were times I was tempted because I'm like, oh, I just want to get through this section or whatever. I just left it alone. So I'm curious on how long this game is, because I literally have no clue. I don't know. I don't know. I
don't know if I know it's 3 discs, and I think from what I've heard from people talking, like there are clear points, I think, where you see where disc 1 ends and disc 2 ends. So. Maybe we'll see, because I know you leave Midgar at some point, so we'll see how that comes about. Gotcha.
All I know is right now there's a lot of mystery with what I'm dealing with, so I'm like, I just the characters just got out of prison and it's a mess. That's all I'll say. So. Because I know you're a little bit behind me. So
I just got there today. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
I played a little bit after we talked. So yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah. So Final Fantasy VII on the Switch. I'm glad it's there. Right. I get to experience this for the first time. I think it's cool. So another one I picked up. I did a first look today called Project Nimbus, and it is a mech. It's kind of like a mech dogfighting game almost. It's kind of how it plays out. It really kind of reminded me of like Crimson Skies or something like that, where you're just kind of dogfighting. I did figure out, I've been playing it on the easy setting so I could get through it as fast as possible to be able to give a good review. And as I've bumped the difficulty up, you lose a ton of auto aim, which to me, when you're in a mech, like you're playing in a mech game like this, like what was happening is like you could target somebody and your gun would actually almost shoot all the way behind you. And I was like, this is rad. Like, I like this. Well, it turns out that's part of the casual mode. And they take that away, and you've got to really lead these shots on these tiny characters. And I don't know, you could still have some, like you have missiles that can track and things like that, which was great. I just kind of relied more on those.
Well, watching the first look, it looks like the skybox is not that easy to decipher your enemies sometimes if you're having to lead those shots.
It would be a little bit like if you watch with the auto aim how you're shot, like the arc, and you're just like, and even that misses sometimes. So then to lose that altogether, your machine gun almost becomes useless. At that point, you're only using your machine gun versus large enemies that are moving slow,
right in front of you.
Which I really enjoyed the machine gun. I thought it was really cool. So, kind of a weird choice. Overall, I have a feeling the game's probably going to land around a 7.5. I'm hoping there's a little more variety in the levels as I get further in. But I am having fun. I felt like when you're in a mech, you want to feel like kind of unstoppable almost. You know what I mean? and that's how this game does a good job of really making it feel like you're something to be messed with, or you're not something to be messed with, you know. So
like, quick take right now, is it like a good $20 holdover until Daemon X Machina decides to come out?
It honestly, if I could get the look of Daemon X Machina with the gameplay of this, it'd be like the perfect scenario, because the graphics are okay. It's the lack of animation for some of the mechs that I was like, they feel a little stiff.
Yeah, you were flying and your mech was just like standing still with its arms at its side, and,
almost like an early tech demo in a way, where it was like, man, I'd like to see the legs moving around a little bit, the arms moving, just give it a little more life, make it feel a little more alive, because it just kind of felt lifeless, you know. So
when your mech swings its sword, do you see a little bit of animation there?
There is some there, yeah. There is definitely that. So yeah, it's I believe it's $17.99 right now. I think is a little like it's
promotional.
Yeah.
Early offering on eShop.
Exactly.
Stay on the front page kind of thing.
And it was on PS4 and PC as well. So, I mean, they like, you use every button, like, and I'm not kidding. You use every, including the D-pad on the left side, like everything. Use every button. So I played a lot handheld. I played a little bit on, I played on the TV today, periodically, my monitor periodically, just to get a feel. I do prefer it docked, but I mean, the frame rate never really dipped at all. It stays pretty consistent. And I believe they were shooting for a 60. I'm not sure they quite hit it, but wherever they did hit, it stayed pretty consistent. So overall, pretty fun game. So next up, one we've both kind of checked out. I've talked about kind of extensively, but Steamworld Quests, you've kind of been digging into that, right?
Yeah, I've slowed down a little bit since I've kind of picked up more on Final Fantasy VII, but I've really enjoyed just the artwork in Steamworld Quest, and just the simplicity that it does have, but it does have kind of a hidden layer of complexity if you really want to dive into it and really think about your decks and how you want to build them, because you only get to have 8 cards per character, and so I mean a max of 24 cards, and you got to really think about how you want to manage that steam power to have those powerful moves. And then if you want to, you have to think about those discards, and if you want to, it's just a lot of management. If it can be a really good deck building game if you want it to be, or it can be find something that you feel like works and you can power through. And I haven't really, it's not a super challenging game. I believe I'm playing through on like just the normal setting, and I haven't encountered a fight that I've lost or fainted or gotten a game. I don't even know what happens if you lose a fight. I think I have had to run away from one fight, but that was it. And it's been fun. I think I'm in Act 3. It can be, it's good that it's kind of a linear game, but then it's also open in just the small little chapter that you're currently in. But it can be a little taxing sometimes when you think you've found everything, and then you get to the end of the chapter and you see like 90% completion, and you have to go back and try to find one chest, because I don't like seeing that number sitting there. And it's like, you also are getting items or weapons that can change your attacks or your special card ability if you link your attacks. Or there's sometimes are card chests that are hidden throughout the world. The card chests, I think, are a little bit easier to find. They want you to find those cards and have that deck expanded. But yeah, I don't like seeing that I didn't get 100% completion. So sometimes you got to go back through. If you hit a save and healing area, all the enemies respawn. So then if you're going back to explore something, then you got to rebattle, which you can grind out a little bit. I guess that works that way, but you have to also be aware of when you come across those save statues that probably means you're coming up on like a boss fight. So that's your idea to maybe turn around and go look for something if you're going through a second time and trying to find everything. But I've been enjoying it. It's good. I have, I think, 5 members in my party, so now it becomes really like choosing what characters you want to level up, because kind of just like the same problems with like Octopath Traveler, you they got to be active in your party to get experience and level up. So you got to think if you want to rank everybody up together or just superpower like three characters.
Got it. Yeah. I've enjoyed my time. What do you think of it graphically? Like, do you like the art style?
I mean, it's just in line with all the other Steamworld games. I think the animations that they have going with it like really fit. They kind of have that loose in the armor, kind of bobbing around. They're just these gangly robots that are dressing up like playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's I mean, I enjoy it. I think it's colorful and vibrant. It's it fits exactly in their aesthetic that they've had with Steamworld 1 or Steamworld Dig 1, Steamworld Dig 2. I picked up Heist recently just because it was on like super sale for like $7. So they all look the same. You kind of know what you're going to get if you buy one of those games.
Yeah, and the writing is super good too. Like I really enjoy the story. It's the interaction between the two characters, especially early on, is quite comical. Like there's some parts I actually laughed at. Like
they make fun of one of their friends who lives in his mom's basement all the time.
Oh, love it. Okay, well, we've both spent a little bit of time with Mortal Kombat 11. How are you liking that one?
I like it. I've watched some Twitch streams of like PC or of, I think they're mainly PS4 players, I think, that are putting a lot of stream content out, and playing it, you can definitely tell that it's been dumbed down on the Switch, but it still looks pretty incredible for what it is. I will say it's not the greatest. It's one of those games that's not built the greatest for handheld. Like it'll work and you can play it if you're in your house, but it's not built for that like suspend, walk away, come back kind of thing, because it always wants to reconnect to the internet. It wants to be online all the time. So while it is possible, I think you get a better experience. It has like the daily challenges, like win 3 matches as a certain character, or execute these kind of moves. So it wants to do that. It's a game that wants to do its daily check-in with its server to let them know what you're doing, how you're doing, all that kind of stuff. I did start the story mode a little bit. I had never, I hadn't really played since they did the reboot. Wasn't it like 7 or 8 was when they kind of started this like big story push that they've had in these games. And I didn't, so what I did is I went to IGN had like a 7-minute video or something like that kind of just roughly framed in the world of Mortal Kombat and what the story is involved in, and it goes back all the way to Mortal Kombat 1, and it talks about what that tournament was in that game and the timeline and how it all works. And this story is super interesting because it pretty much just lets them put a reset on everything, because it involves time travel, and it's really fun. So I've been enjoying just playing through the story, and you unlock a new fighter to play as after like chapter 4. So I made sure to do that. I haven't really dabbled online. I think I tried to play a little bit with somebody on Discord last week, and it was both late for both of us, and I think the servers they had just pushed a brand new update, so I think the servers were a little wonky and we kept getting disconnects, but otherwise, I mean, I've had the game quit on me maybe twice. It's gotten its own in its own way. It's tripped over its own feet and quit, but otherwise, I mean, it runs. It takes a little while to load stuff up, but this is a AAA game that we got day and date with everybody else. So I think the more companies that are willing to do that, the better. So like, big props to WB for doing that, and then also like Bethesda when they're getting ready to do that here with Doom Eternal.
Oh, we're gonna talk about Doom Eternal on Monday. I can't wait. Yeah, the storyline has been really cool in Mortal Kombat. Like, I love the way the cutscenes just flow into the fights.
Oh,
and they just seem to really they just mesh really well together. And the cutscenes are great. It's like an over the top, like it's like an R-rated Expendables movie almost. It's kind of what I was the vibe I was getting from it. And yeah, really enjoying it. Like I hope to get some more time with it because it is a lot of fun. And this, I mean, what's weird to say for a fighting game that the story is so much fun, but it really is the case. I mean, and I kind of got out of these games. Like GameCube era was kind of the last time I was playing, like Deadly Alliance and I can't remember what the other one was called now. So and so yeah, I just kind of walked away from it a little bit, even though I was such a huge fan as a kid. But really digging 11. I'm hoping to get more time.
I feel like it's pretty approachable too. Like I know there's probably a whole lot more combos that are hidden that websites will have up or already probably do have up. But if you pick up a character and you're like, because the story lets you, sometimes you have a choice between one or two characters that you can pick, but otherwise you're locked into a character that's involved in that story plot line that you're doing. So if you're not familiar with them, you just quick hit start and you can get like a quick list of 3 or 4 moves. And then I've been using an IGN list for fatalities, because that is something you have to not unlock, but to see the combo easily. You have to get it in the, I forget what it's called, the crypt, I think is what it's called. And so that's kind of where you have to get their currency, and then you can get brutalities and all sorts of stuff that you can see the combo. So everything is, you're capable of doing everything, but you don't have access to what the combo is unless you look it up. But otherwise, like these basic kind of character specific moves, which a lot of them share the same inputs, which is like back forward A or back forward B kind of thing, is there for you to look up real quick, so you can just quickly access that, and then it makes it a much more enjoyable experience. So I feel like it's pretty approachable.
Yeah, those I can't remember what they're called, like that midway through when you're about to lose all your health, and you can...
the fatal blow, like you get down to like your last third of health, and it's kind of a cat and mouse game where you have to choose it, because you only get it once per the 3 rounds.
Right.
It might recharge. I don't think it does, but I think, so you have to like choose when you want to use it. If you are like down and out and you need to get their health down and you know it's not going to kill them, or you're at a point where you want to just engage it and end the fight, or if you save it till round 2 or 3 when you're guaranteeing yourself the victory, then yeah, it's and they're all animated really cool.
They are so, and in some cases better than the fatalities.
They're more enjoyable than the fatalities, I feel like. Yeah. Some of them. Yeah, you're right.
So completely different style game, Box Boy and Box Girl. You played all the way through it, correct?
So the original, like the main single player, just Box Boy, I beat. I think it took me about 9 hours or so. It's like 17 worlds with, I think, varying from like 5 to 8 like puzzle rooms per world. It's really, it varies kind of how it plays. It makes you think. And then what I wasn't expecting is you get to the end, and the tall rectangle, I forget what he's called. I think he has a name. But he has a whole campaign to go through. So I'm on like world 6 or something like that with him. And there's less worlds or less levels in each of his worlds. There's only like 5 so far, but they all, so I don't have quite I think they usually build up the abilities that you get. So I don't have quite the arsenal that I had with Box Boy. But this game is approachable enough. I think I might try to talk my wife into playing it with me, because there is the whole other thing of the co-op with Box Boy and Box Girl. And this game has tons and tons and tons of cosmetics, which I was a little off-put at the very beginning, that like I beat the main game and I didn't have enough money to purchase even, like they have this sub game that's like called Balloon World. You have like, I think in the Box Boy campaign, you have like 5 of those to unlock. I've unlocked them. I haven't gone back and played them, so I don't even know if I get currency maybe doing that as well. But there's like 2 separate sets of currency. One is points you get for like unlock cosmetics like hats. You get eyes, lips, and like clothes and hats. And then the other one is like for Balloon World and music, and there's a little comic thing. But then that's those points that buy those things can also you can buy hints in the world. Like I haven't had to do that yet. But if you're struggling, you can buy a hint sitting there. It recognizes, I guess, if you're if you've died a few times. But then you can also buy some power-ups in the shop, which I don't quite remember what they do because I haven't bought any. But it's a very approachable game. There's 3 targets, so there's like kind of bronze, silver, gold. It doesn't really go that. It varies how much currency you get, but it sets targets for how many boxes you can use and collect the crowns and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a fun challenge. If I come across something that I've been struggling with, it's good just either sit there or sometimes just walk away. Sometimes I just do a world or two, and then like I've been playing this on some downtime at work, and I was walk away from it and I'd sit there and think about it, and it's just a good thing. It's something easily you can visualize in your head and then come up with your possible solutions, because everything is possible with what they've given you. So it's really fun to think about it and solve some of those more complex ones once you get there.
Yeah, the little bit of time I spent with it was a really cool game, and I do hope to play more. The last one here that we both just picked up before we went live was Ninja Gaiden from the Arcade Archives, and I couldn't believe it. Like I was just scrolling through the shop, and I see this, and I was like, no way. Right? I'm like, and I love these classic arcade ROMs. Like, I think they're just the best thing ever, because it just, that there's such a huge nostalgia pull for me when it comes to these arcade games. And so, I downloaded it, inserted my coin, I'm doing finger quotes, and started playing. And it all came back to me. Like, I don't know that I played this game a lot in the arcade, but I feel like it was always at pizza parlors or at the bowling alley or something. And you're a ninja fighting these guys that look like Jason from Friday the 13th. They've all got hockey masks, and you can throw them through signs and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I remember playing this. And I was just like so stoked to be able to play this game again, because it was like one of those games that I had like kind of forgotten about. And then the opening sequence, you see a ninja and a dude with a hockey mask collide, and I was like, this kind of seems familiar. And then as soon as the opening level started, I was like, oh my gosh, I lost so many quarters to this game. It was always one of the hardest games in the arcade, it seemed like, but I guarantee my uncle and I spent plenty of quarters trying to see how far we could get into the game. And when you run out of credits, the ninja is sitting there. He's tied up. There's like these weird wolves and different creatures around him. And there's this giant saw blade coming down towards his chest. And if you don't put in money, the whole screen goes red and he screams. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally
Pretty brutal
remember.
For 1988.
Yes. But it all took me back. I don't know. Did you play it back in the day at all?
I mean, I remember seeing some of these, but I don't remember this one in particular. But this one is so much different. Like Mario Arcade Archives is pretty much kind of what became the home console game. This is just completely different in the sense that it's not a like a challenge platformer. It's a beat 'em up.
Right. Yeah. You can actually move up, and it's not just left to right. This is like a early Final Fight, Double Dragon, right? Like that's the style of game this is. And yeah, I love the sprite work and everything in it. Like, it's a little bit slower. You were playing, you're like, is there a jump button? Because he jumps all weird, but if you get near an enemy and you jump, he flips them and he'll throw them into signs, and you can trash some of the level. And I was
at the very beginning, there's a phone booth, and if you like jump at the phone booth, he like wall runs and then backflips up it. Like it's and then he's like doing a gymnastics like flip, like spinning and sideways if you're just standing there still. So yeah, it's very different. It's not your traditional just jump up or anything like that. It's not TNMT 1989 or anything like that.
No, definitely not. So, all right, well, cool. Hey, this has been fun. Let's wrap it up here. Crawler, where can people find you?
You guys can find me hanging out in the Discord, n64josh.com/Discord. I know we've been seeing kind of just a string of people, even without Josh putting out content this last week. So props to you, I guess, on your YouTube videos, getting those people to come in. And then also regular Monday nights. What time do we record? 7 o'clock. Is it 7? Yeah, 7 Pacific.
Yep.
Right here on this channel for the Smash Bros. Cast. And then occasionally on my Twitch channel, Nightcrawler724, Nightcrawlers without the E, and then also on Twitter.
Right on, right on. Guys, you can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, all the places. It's at N64Josh. You can follow this show at NPowercast on Twitter. If you'd like to check out the show notes from this episode, it's n64josh.com/NPC208. You can email the show. You got questions, comments, concerns, npc@n64josh.com. If you'd like to get yourself a free book from Audible, you can go to audibletrial.com/NPC. Pick up something awesome like Blood, Sweat, and Pixels or Ready Player One. The chair I'm sitting in from OPC. Go to n64josh.com/OPC to automatically save $10 at checkout. I do have a Patreon if you want to help support the content I create. It's patreon.com/n64josh. You can check out the tiers if you would like. Again, guys, if you want to pick up some merch, n64josh.com/store, coupon code E32019 to save 10% on all of the merchandise. Crawler already mentioned the Discord. I will mention the Facebook group again, n64josh.com/Facebook group if you want to come and hang out. And I just want to say thanks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. If you're watching this on YouTube or you're here live, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And Eric will be back in a week. Crawler is going to fill in again on Monday. Unless there could be a relatively well-known creator joining me. I just haven't heard back yet. We haven't solidified the date. So if that doesn't happen, Crawler will be back on Monday, as well as on the Smash Bros. Cast. We're doing 2 in a row. So yeah, should be good. So hope you guys don't mind so many shows this week, but hey, I had to make it up to you, you know. So that's just the way it goes. So yeah, you're gonna probably talk about it on Monday's show if this ends up happening again. You picked up the Capcom beat 'em up as well, right?
Yeah. So I'll have to try that out, and maybe you and I can get some online co-op stuff going.
Yeah, that'd be rad. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in the next one. Bye now.